You are looking live at the Kansas Speedway in Kansas City, Kansas, where tonight's race of the Fast Cash Racing Products ARCA series rolls into town. I'm your host, Jeff Perchatsky. In the booth with me today are Christian Delgado and Matthew Perchatsky. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Jeff. Obviously Kansas, I'm a little bit biased towards. Kansas is my home state, I've actually got a race here in real life, so very biased kind of towards this track. So I'm really excited to see what kind of racing we're gonna have here today. Poppy, how do you think the race is gonna be?
Yeah, I agree, Christian, completely. A lot of the time we talk about those amazing next gen races that we've seen at this track, but the Gen 4 racing here is something that a lot of people haven't seen before, and so we're hoping to bring you guys a good show today and show you guys some really good ARCA racing and in the ARCA Fast Cast Racing Product Series.
Yeah, these ARCA cars always put on a good show, especially at a very fast, multiple grooves track such as Kansas Speedway. Christian, we'll start with you. What do you think are going to be the keys to this race, the keys that these drivers got to be thinking about as somebody with firsthand experience watching races and also driving at this track in real life?
I just feel like you're just gonna have to find that line that this car works with right now. Obviously, with the iRacing side of things, this is the ARCA car, so it's just kind of a bogged down version of the Gen 4, which iRacing recently came out with a year ago. So it's really easy. So with how bogged down these cars are, it's just kind of about keeping the revs up and keeping this momentum up throughout the track, and you know uh, keeping the car kind of planted and going through the track without having to break that momentum. Because when you break momentum here in this ARCA car, it's super hard to maintain that and also regain it if you do break it. So
And we can see qualifying is starting now, so we'll take everybody trackside here at Kansas Speedway. There's our ticker. Doesn't appear to be anyone on track at the moment, so stand by for the first car. Oh, while we're here, Matthew, I have a question for you. What do you think is going to be the key for drivers like Cash Culp and drivers like Diego Rodriguez, who ran very well at Daytona, obviously a plate drafting style track? What do you think is going to be the most important thing for them as they come into this track, mile and a half, high bank multi-groove track like Kansas Speedway?
Well, Jeff, I think something to keep in mind is that race at Daytona was, we saw a lot of aggression really, really early on. And I think for those guys that saw how much it paid off to keep your car clean early on, I think it's going to be important for them to remember that, not being aggressive too early on is going to pay off if you keep your car clean and you're actually there at the end to compete. A lot of these guys will get too overzealous at the beginning and want to make moves way too early on, put themselves in a really bad position, and as well as the other people around them. But just being able to make it through these first few laps here on this track, going, three, maybe even four wide at times, multi-groove racing with these cars that are so much of a handful, driving down into the corner, keeping it on the bottom, for example, as well as actually just getting off of the corner. If you're behind somebody, for example, you don't want to completely scoop them and send them into the wall. So I think for these guys that did good at Daytona, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to adjust to the track like this. Little bit of a challenge for them, but at the same time, I think they know what it's like to succeed, so they're going to be able to carry a lot of those things over.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Such an adjustment coming from a super speedway to a mile and a half like Kansas, but should be an entertaining one here regardless. You can see Noah Hamilton so far as a provisional pole um, with a 31.2. Behind him, Diego Rodriguez with a 31.47. Zachary Burns in that 28 and Keith Chalk in the 2. The other 2 drivers to make up the 4 that are qualied so far. So we have just under 2 minutes left in qualifying. Interesting, guys like Cash Culp, the winner of last race, have decided to not qualify the car just yet. Maybe waiting for some track condition changing, some of that dynamic track action. But Christian, what do you think is going to be the strategy for these guys going into this one? Like Cash Culp and Diego that had good runs last time. Obviously, different type of track. What do you think is going to be the mentality? You think they're going to lag back, or do you think they're going to go for the lead early on?
Well, I know Cash is a very aggressive driver. Obviously, as we've mentioned before in the Cup Series broadcast, he drives IRL, so he knows that mentality of keeping the car clean, being aggressive, and putting himself in a good spot to run up front, right? So I think Cash is going to be aggressive, regardless if he qualifies or not. As we see, he has qualified. He's P5 on track right now with a 32.00 with .09, but I think he's going to be aggressive versus Diego. He's kind of been known to kind of lag back and kind of let the chaos ensue, and then he's kind of there at the end to always, pick up the scraps, as they call it. He kind of got lagged back in that first caution and then literally drove his way up to the field with the help of another driver and almost won that race. Unfortunately, got involved with that netcode wreck at the end of the race there, giving Cash the win there, but I think it just depends on the driver, right? If you're an aggressive driver, I feel like you're going to be aggressive. But if you're someone who wants to kind of sit back and watch, then you're going to also do that as well.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Knowing Cash Culp, having raced with him both in the Fast Cash Racing Series as well as NR Night in America, you know that he has that mentality of you're going for it on every lap. So it's going to be entertaining watching him come through this field. Speaking of him, he is now second on the board with a 31.21 as we are getting ready to go green here. You can see the cars out on the grid. The car is lining up behind the pace car on pit road, and we will take you on a high-velocity TV through the field before this 90-lap race at Kansas Speedway. Starting on the pole, we got the 24 car of Noah Hamilton next to that 57 green Flames car of Cash Culp. Row 2 has a 70 of Tim Rengers. The 48 of Diego Rodriguez. As we mentioned, looking for another good run here at Kansas. Row 3, Zachary Burt and Keith Chalk in that 2 car. And Christian, how about you round out the field for us?
You're rounding out row 4 is going to be Andrew White, and your broadcaster decided to register for a session, but he's going to round out your row 4. And that is going to round out your field here at Kansas. So not a lot of drivers here. It looks like 7 elected to come out here and race here tonight at Kansas.
And unfortunately, I did not get the gig for both driver and broadcaster for this one, so I'm going to have to sit this one out. But we have the best seat in the house up here in the booth, don't we, guys?
Definitely. I mean, even though we only have 7 drivers, I would say about half these drivers are willing to make the moves, willing to be aggressive here in the booth. Up here in the booth, it's going to be really exciting to watch, and I'm really excited. I mean, 90 laps here at Kansas quite a bit, and I think strategy is going to come into play here. So, Matthew, what do you think is going to be the strategy? Do you think, especially when it comes to tire saving, do you think some people are going to be aggressive? Do you think they're going to lay back and try to save some tires and be there at the end of this run?
Well, I'll answer for that one. I think that there's going to be some drivers, like we mentioned, Cash Culp is going to be very aggressive early on, especially starting on that front row in this one. I think he'll blow by Noah Hamilton at the start. Sorry, Noah. That's just what I think, just from how I've seen him race in the past and his driving style. But I think some of these guys like Diego, you know, even though he's starting on the second row, he is always a driver that wants to lag back, save his stuff, save his car, stay away from any incidents, and just be there at the end of this race. So 90 laps, long way for these guys to go. But we're gearing up. Engines are going. They're coming into 3 and 4, taking the green this time by. It's going to be DuPont Flames versus Green Flames on the front row. Noah Hamilton and Cash Culp. As a pace car is going to take the hard left on a pit road. Barney's got the green in his hand, flag in his hand, and he's going to say, "We are green" from Kansas Speedway.
Let's go racing. Come on back.
Oh, they're wrecking already at the start.
Wow.
That's the 2 car, Keith Chalk.
Oh, what happened? It looks like somebody got
The
hooked there,
28
maybe.
and the 5.
Yeah, it looks like 2 people
number
at
7
least.
Jim Beam car, Andrew White, already involved.
Oh, no. How tragic. Not even into turn 1.
Doesn't appear to be a caution on the speedway just yet, so Cash Culp and Noah Hamilton are still racing for that lead. Cash Culp with a slight advantage off of 4.
Yeah, you see him ducking down there. Oh, and what an aggressive side drop by Hamilton going into turn 1.
They are neck and neck. This is exactly the kind of racing that we've come to know and love at Kansas Speedway. Noah ripping that top, Cash ripping that bottom. Who's going to come out on top? Noah with a slight advantage with the run off that high side. Progressive banking racetracks really, really bring the excitement to the racing. Hamilton's still ripping that top lane. He's being a lot more aggressive with defending than I expected with Cash Culp up there. And he is going to clear him and lead lap 2. See Diego in that 48. He has the best view of this battle up here. As you can see, he's in the wall a little bit off of 2. Gathers it back up, though. He's okay.
Yeah, him and Culp were loose off the corner. Luckily, Culp wasn't close enough to the wall for it to make a difference.
And Cole sends it in 3 and 4 once again.
Oh, will he clear him? Yes, he does.
Clears
Wow.
the 24 again. Is Hamilton going to go for the crossover here? He seems content to just ride behind and give him a little arrow push down the front stretch.
Yeah, you saw how close he got to his right rear quarter panel to want to get that entry line going into 1 there. As Culp drifts up the track, he's still going to keep the lead out of 2.
24 car dives it down, trying to get that slide job to work. He's going to do it, but Cash Culp is going to come back on the inside to fight back.
Oh, we're going to see a good crossover right here. I'm not sure if it's going to quite clear him or not. Looks like it's going to be an aggressive side draft, maybe not, by Hamilton.
Oh my, Cash Culp almost got turned clearing Hamilton on the front stretch. What a battle. Neither of these drivers are giving an inch. Christian, what is this going to shape up to be at the end of this run? They're both burning their stuff up really quickly.
Yeah, I mean, you see them really running the top here and being aggressive to try to burn off this right rear. So they can, you know, when they burn off the right, you see Hamilton almost up in the wall there. You see them just leaning that car out there next to the wall. So when they do further down this run, you know, they're going to have that right front to lean on towards the, you know, pick a different line there. But, I mean, obviously very aggressive driving right here. And I think you see Noah already saying, like, okay, like we raced a little bit out. I'm not going to burn my stuff up. And you see Cash start to pull away here.
As Matthew mentioned, Diego trying to get in on some of that high lane Larson lining action that the 24 Hamilton's doing. He's just not being as successful of a job as he is.
Yeah, it almost looks like Hamilton saw it on the wheel coming out of 4 there. And one of my favorite lines, lap traffic will be a factor very soon. We'll see if this shakes up anything in the front. But as for the time being, that Green Flames car leading the pack.
As you mentioned, that's that 28 car. Zachary Burnt already about to go 1 lap down to the leader, Cash Culp here. Coming to 8 laps complete in the race of 90.
I mean, you see that 28 kind of running in the line of the leader here. We'll see if he's willing to, you know, give that top up to the 57 here. If he's going to kind of try to stay up there, run his line and force Cash to, you know, pass him the hard way here. And you see him, the 28 almost up in the wall there, but looks like he's doing a good job, you know, standing his ground out there, but Cash is slowly reeling him in. Half a second now behind this lapper.
Now Diego's coming back on the inside of Hamilton. Let's ride on board with him. That Lowe's onboard cam. You can see Hamilton gets such a good run off of 4. And off of both ends of the racetrack, really, running that high groove. And Diego's attempting to run the middle, but not getting quite close enough to make a move just yet.
Yeah, I'm thinking that Hamilton maybe got a little shaken up coming off of 4 on that one corner, almost in the wall, maybe even in the wall, and is taking a little more of a reserved approach here. You still see him run that high line. Diego about a lane, maybe a half lane down from him. But yeah, I'm really interested to see, you know, are these guys going to work together? Are they going to try to help each other out, not drag each other back, riding side by side? We'll have to see.
Diego and Noah are teammates, so I would certainly hope they want to work together to try to catch this 57 Cash. Obviously, around that lapper, as we see in that 4 shot there. And so now these two in second and third are going to have to try to get around that lap car of Zach right there. And you see Noah getting up into the wall there.
That allows Diego on the 48 to get past Hamilton. As you said, that's a great point, Christian. They're teammates. They don't want to battle each other and slow each other down too much. But it seemed like Noah was pushing just a little bit too much too early there and got on the wall.
Yeah, it's not something you want to do is get damage to the right side of your car, especially considering how aero dependent these cars are, you know, side by side with one another. But, you know, I think Hamilton's going to, you know, stay collected here, gather his car back up, and hopefully make some repairs if necessary on pit road.
And that incident opened up Cash Culp's lead to 1.8 seconds and counting. We already said he's passed the 28 car. That was a lap car. And the 48 and the 24 are going to have to get past that lapper still. And Cash Culp is in clean air, just setting sail in that high lane. As I say that, he's in the wall.
Oh, my goodness.
It looks like he's going to gather it up, though. He actually gained on Diego, who's in the wall hard.
In the wall. Oh, my goodness.
He's
wow,
trying out that Chastain line in 3 and 4. That's going to allow the 24 and the 10 both to get by Diego. Oh, my. That was almost worst case scenario for that team because those guys were just content on riding, you know, bumper to bumper and keeping that 10 car behind them. But now he's challenging for both of their spots here early on.
How about Andrew White diving to the inside of Diego on the bottom of the track?
Diego's got an issue. He is falling back like a rock. He was incredibly slower that last lap, coming off the wall in 4. And they're going to be touching.
Oh, my goodness.
The 10 and 24, door banging into 1. Is Tempe going to be able to clear him? Noah's fighting back on the outside. He is not going to clear him.
That White Castle car threw one of those cheeseburger sliders down in that corner, rubbing on Hamilton. Oh, my goodness.
He sure did. He's going to try the bottom again. I don't know if it's going to work for him. He's going to get tight up the track.
He's going to have to side draft so aggressively if he wants to stay there.
Yeah, he had to lift out of it to not wreck the 24 there. And Andrew White in that 7 Jim Beam car has had the best view of all this. Let's ride on board with him. He's carrying our
he's in the wall.
helmet cam as he's in the wall.
Oh my gosh, he's in the wall.
He's
again.
really struggling hard in the wall off of 2. You can see just how important that arrow is because if you can stay in that draft with how low power these ARCA cars are, that really is everything if you want to stay in this race.
I mean, this is exactly what Cash wants to see here. Look at the top 5 right here, just duking it out right here. It's allowing Cash to pull away now. 3 seconds, he's got a gap on this. And he's also getting a little bit of help, probably from the lap car, giving him a little bit of an arrow push down the straights.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, surprisingly. This lap car.
Now 24 car on the wall again. Wow. Oh my goodness, what has happened to this second pack here?
And Diego again. Everybody is coming into the wall. Oh my goodness.
Well, the teammates of the 24 and the 48 went from good to bad to worse here in just a matter of laps. As Tim Ringers in that 10 is pulling away from both of them here, and they're under attack from the 7 car of White.
Yeah, and he's kept his car pretty much entirely clean for the most part. I haven't seen him get into the wall once as Hamilton taps the wall once again.
Yeah, it's super surprising to see these cars just get up in the wall right here. I mean, these cars are so bogged down. I mean, you're almost flat out, especially running this top. So, super surprised that these drivers are having so much issues running the top here. But I mean, we see everybody not being able to find a rhythm here at Kansas.
You can see now this, I believe it's a 70 car, excuse me. It looks like a 10, but 70 car on the ticker. Tim Ringers now pulling out to a over half-second lead over Noah Hamilton in that second pack that's forward back here. They're still fighting hard. They're all within a couple tenths of each other here. With White in that 7 run of the high line, he's going to get a run on Hamilton. Now, what's Diego going to do? He's got his teammate on his inside. Is he going to let him through, or is he going to try to take the spot from him? They're side by side off of 4. White clears both of them.
Looks like he's going to let his teammate in right here in the 48. I think Noah's trying to figure out what line works for him right now. You see him trying to run this bottom, trying to figure out what works, because obviously that high line was not it for that number 24 DuPont car. So I think right now, as he's into the wall during the straight, maybe that he broke something in that car. You see?
Oh, the 7 into the wall. Diego gains a
Wow.
lot on him. He might get to his outside here off of 4. The 7 will
Not
keep
quite
the
enough.
spot for now.
And as we're talking, Tim Rengers in the 70, closing the gap to just over 2 seconds. It was at 3 seconds a little while ago, a few laps ago. He is pulling away from these guys, duking it out for 3rd and 4th on back.
He has left 3rd place on back in the dust, and the 7 car White's just going to say, enough's enough, I'm letting Diego by, and he's on the wall again. I think he's starting to really feel that tire wear that he put onto his car after aggressively fighting these guys the last couple of laps.
Yeah, and if I'm these guys as crew chiefs, I'm telling them, hey, driver, you need to calm down, clear where your head's at, reset. We got a long race to go as we just eclipsed 20 laps into this race. You guys stay focused, stay locked in. We'll get some fresh tires eventually, but you gotta help me out here and take care of this car.
And meanwhile, the fire in the middle of the pack dying down a bit. Diego pulling out to a half-second lead over Andrew.
But he got in the wall again, so here comes the 7.
That's true. He cut the gap in half on that straightaway. He's going to get a big run into 1. Dives it down low. Who's going to come out on top off of 2?
Gonna be side by side down the back here.
It's going to be the 48 getting that big run. That progressive bank in the top lane is by far the fastest in the corner and on the exit. If you can run it right, it's very high risk, high reward at this racetrack.
Looks like they're going to be side by side coming out of 4. Andrew likes to go down to the bottom of the track on the apron.
Diego's going to keep the spot for now, and the 7 car is going to slot in behind him, see if he can get some of that draft and maybe set up a run at the next lap or 2.
Yeah, man, that 48 car is beat up. I'm shocked at his ability to keep contending for that spot in 3rd place. But like I mentioned, just being able to keep your car clean, no matter the circumstances, don't make the damage any worse than it already is, right? Just being able to keep your car in one piece, I think, is going to be really important as we just surpass 25 laps into the race.
And I'm taking a look at the 70 car right here. He's already got this gap down there, 9/10 of a second, so he's catching this leader very quickly. I think right now he's got the cleanest car in the field right now, and has really learned where that car wants to drive. He's not really ripping the wall here. He's kind of running almost half a seam up, and has really figured out how he wants that car to drive here.
Yeah, and it looks like he's caught that draft of that lap car that Cash Cope actually passed early in the race. He's going to be able to use that draft to catch back up to him and contend for the lead here, I believe.
I remember the problem is that it's one thing getting in the lap car's draft and getting run. It's another thing to pass them at this multi-groove racetrack. I mean, you can dive it down low, but if the lap car is going to stay in Cash Cope's draft on that high side, it's going to be really hard to get past both of those cars. So I think Ringers here in the 70s is going to have to be
Catching
really
the wall
patient.
here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Cash was in the wall. Lap car going down to the bottom of the track. Will this give Tim Rengers an opening here? Going down the backstretch, maybe.
70's cut the lead more in half, and
Oh,
he
he's in
sends
the wall
it in. He's in the
too!
wall. Sends
Oh,
it in just a
no!
little bit too hard, too early. And there goes his chance at taking the lead. As you can see, the 48 and the 7 catching up fast.
Yeah, this is going to bring the fight back to second place here. Everything counts.
On board with the 7, Jim Beam on board. You can see they caught the 70 so quickly after he got on the wall. Once you get these ARCA cars in the wall, it's so hard to get them off. It's like a magnet on that right side of the car.
Yeah, a lot of the times we'll hear commentators on broadcasts talk about the air cushion that exists between the car and the wall, and as soon as you break that, there is almost no chance of getting that car off the wall. But as we see into the wall, the 7 going out of 4 here. Luckily, he wasn't able to get too much damage from that. But wow, what an interesting change of events here.
And all these guys are really struggling for grip right now. Christian, what are we thinking about strategy here? I mean, these guys burn up their tires so quickly, but we're only going to be able to go maybe 10 or so more laps on fuel before these guys are going to have to bring it down pit road.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Sitting in the car right now, it says we have about 60 laps a tank on fuel, so I think we're only about halfway through our run here. So I feel like it's going to be more about who's going to be willing to make that drive down pit road here versus who is going to say, like, make it on fuel. I feel like they're gonna definitely want tires more than fuel. So with 90 laps here, you can almost split this race perfectly into 3. So if you want to.
Andrew White into the wall again as he gave the 48 a big shove down the backstretch with that arrow push.
Yeah, if I'm putting my driver's hat on, I'm really going to say, hey, I know that I can go longer on fuel, but I really want those fresh tires so I can really make the best use out of that top groove, running the wall, make up a lot of time on these guys. But I think that 2 stops is just way too much time lost on pit road, so I agree with that strategy. You can see everybody agrees. Nobody's coming this early with 31 of 90 laps complete so far in this one. Cash Culp, we've seen has led nearly the entire race, 30 of 31 in this one. And he is still out to a 2-second lead after that charge from the 70 car came up short a number of laps ago.
How about that 28 car able to keep up with Cash Culp in the lead? Still battling for that lucky dog spot, trying to unlap himself. But yeah, we're still seeing a little bit of a single file develop here for second place between the 70, 48 and the 7 car.
And Cash is also up into the wall again, so got back to a second now to this front pack up here.
Big time.
Now the 28 car is by Cash again to unlap himself. It's going to be big.
How important it is to keep up with the leader.
And the 70's back in the wall again. He's going to lose 2 spots here.
Oh, my.
Man, if I'm these guys battling for second spot, I'm thinking, I need to be working with everyone around me. I got to pull my weight, and so do they. But, getting into the wall like that, it does not help at all. You're breaking up your momentum, and you're not helping that 3-car push down the straightaways, which is so important when you're trying to run down that leader.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And like I said earlier in the pre-show, like, these cars are so bogged down because it's the ARCA package. When you break that momentum, it takes a good 2-3 laps to get that momentum back up. Because if you see now, they're only 6/10 behind your leader now because, like I said, it takes so long to regain all that momentum back. It takes what, 2.5 laps to get back up to speed here. Luckily, Cash has that lap car to help with that out a little bit, but still, now under half a second, Diego is to this 57.
Yeah, Diego's big time in that draft now, and we see him reeling in slowly. Maybe 28, maybe into the water. He's gonna slow up. Cash Culp in the lead. Oh my goodness.
He's gonna have to get by the 28 again. He's getting held up big. Here comes Diego right in his draft. Is he going to make a move this time?
Huge run into turn 1 here by the 48 of Diego. He's there. He's going to the inside.
There he goes. He's got the run on him. He's going to send it into 3 and 4. He's going to have the lead easily unless Cash Culp is going to say something about it off of 4, which I don't
How about
think he
Andrew
will.
White taking advantage too out of 4?
How about this battle for the lead? 36 laps into this one. Can the
No,
7
this is
car get the
happening.
pass done? He will.
Wow.
He's going to do it. Cash Culp back to 3rd and into the wall some more.
Man, unbelievable.
48 and the 7 are now 1 and 2.
Once
Man.
again, we've seen this lap car. He's not been willing to like let these guys go. He's trying to race to stay on the lead lap for this potential halfway caution here. Like he's trying to race these guys as hard as he can and stay back on the lead lap. You see any opportunity he gets to pass these leaders, he's doing it. So right now, honestly, Diego's kind of in a really bad spot here because he's gonna have to try to pass someone who does not want to be passed. Because you go a lap down here, that can easily derail your whole race.
What an effort though by that 28, giving himself a shot to be unlapped, staying in front of the 48.
While that intense battle was going on, Tim Rangers in the 70, unfortunately, just exiting the pits now, 2 laps down, about to go 3 laps down. After almost challenging for the lead at one point and getting in the wall, trying to pass Cash Culp, he is going to go another lap down, which, barring a series of cautions, likely will end his shot at the win here. It's an unfortunate break for him.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he got out far enough that I think he will probably pull away from these guys with those. I presume he went and got 4 fresh Goodyear tires, so he will be, what, about 2 seconds a lap faster. So I think he will pull away from these guys, but 2 laps, you already have that 28. That's already 1 lap down here, trying to stay 1 lap down. It's going to be really hard for Tim to recover from this, I feel like.
Yeah, 1 lap is doable, especially with the lucky dog. 2, you have to get a lot of luck, but anything more than 2 is almost insurmountable. So we'll see what he can do. It's not looking bright for him. 41 laps into this one at Kansas. See, the 7 car is still keeping up with the 48 here. Cut the gap down to about a quarter of a second. You see that 28 car is not giving an inch. He knows, but there's more lap cars now. As he's in the wall, he is struggling hard off exit of 4. And his valiant effort comes to an end. He's going to go another lap down.
Oh, he's getting a huge push, though, from the 7 car. Oh, into the wall, my goodness.
Yeah, he knew the second that Tim pitted.
Oh.
Because we have a blink out here from 2nd place. We have lost our cameras for the moment. So we saw some cars on track.
The 7 car of Andrew White is still in 2nd place.
Yeah, you see it both ripping that top lane. The 28 car saw after the 70 went and pitted and got fresh tires. He's like, hey, I got to do everything I can to ensure I stay in that free pass position. Which he still is, but he's now 2 down. Makes it more difficult for him to have a chance in this one.
Yeah, and right now the big thing for Diego is, clean racetrack, clean air, clean sights on, as we wind down these laps here. Nothing holding him back. He's able to, go at his own pace, not have to worry about anything in front of him, and we'll see who's putting together cleaner lap times here.
How about this? Andrew White starting dead last in the field, P8, has raced all the way up to P2 within half a second of the leader. Great run for him today.
Talk about a lot of the strategy starting early on in the race. A lot of these guys will either choose not to qualify, just out of the sake of wanting to be in the back for whatever reason it is. But a lot of these people actually want to be in the back to try and avoid the carnage that goes on early in the race, and we saw that on lap one, going into the first corner. So props to Andrew White to be able to foresee some of the incidents that could be happening and be able to capitalize on it as we see him here running in second. Oh, they're going to pit road.
We can see we're exactly at the halfway mark in the race, and Christian called it. They are splitting this race exactly in half. You see the 7 car White actually getting ahead of Diego on the entrance of pit road.
Yeah, man. Unbelievable stuff on his part. Being able to stop that car, get that speed down, not speed entering pit road, and actually enter pit road without losing control. Good job on Andrew White. Stops in his box. He'll take presumably 4 tires and fuel.
We'll see who comes out in the lead after this one. Cash Culp cycles out to the lead. He's going to try to do the overcut on these guys. Andrew out of his box, and he is going to keep the lead.
That's
what
huge
a move,
for Andrew White.
entering pit road, excuse me.
You see Cash coming in the pit road now.
Cash Culp making his stop.
Will pick up your lead.
We'll give the lead to the 24 car, Noah Hamilton, who led early in this one, but has had a rough one since.
I'm not so sure Hamilton is going to be able to stay in front of the leaders here, but good job on Andrew White getting on the pit road and entering before the 48 car Diego, and it looks like Diego is going to be able to maybe drag up the 24 Noah Hamilton, be able to help him out a little bit, maybe with some aero push, but for the time being, it seems that Andrew White's going to be your leader, and this is going to be the battle for the lead here between Andrew and Diego.
It will, and congrats to Diego's pit crew because they kept it within 0.7 of a second. I mean, that could have been a disaster if they had an issue on pit road. And, you not only did you lose the lead, but you lost even more time.
Oh, someone's in the wall.
You see the 7 cars in the wall, so he's going to have a run here off of turn 4.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, if you're a 7 car, don't overdrive the corner, right? Take care of your stuff. Don't rip that wall too much to the point where you're literally touching it. These Gen 4 cars, you gotta be careful with your proximity to the wall. A lot of the times in the cockpit, it's really deceiving how close you actually are compared to what it looks like. But good job on Andrew's part, not being able to lose too much of a gap to the 48, but he's definitely gonna have to put in his work up in the lead here.
And these two guys are certainly enjoying their fresh new tires. You can see inches from that wall. The 7 car White. You see almost tracking out all the way to the non-safer barrier part of this wall. The safer barrier ends in the exit of the corners here. Look at how close that is.
Great stuff from the leaders here as we ride on board.
I'm almost a little concerned with the 7 car here because this used to be the way to go. You see him in the wall, but the way it used to go back before the new build came out is that it was quicker to ride the wall there, but now it's actually slower to be that close.
Oh my God, he got cleared!
Because of the traction here, it's actually slower running up against the wall like that. It's actually faster the way the 48 was doing, and you saw right there him catch up to the 7 regardless of that wall hit.
Yeah, let's take a look at this pass for the lead here. See, Diego just got a flat-out better run on him on the bottom, which you almost never see here at Kansas, and that high line being the dominant lane. Even though it is multi-groove, it's hard to make that bottom work, but he did it.
Yeah, how about them 4 fresh Goodyear tires getting put to work here as we are actually more than halfway through the race. 52 laps out of 90.
See, Noah Hamilton still your leader. Diego, his teammate in that 48, is the provisional leader now, as Hamilton has not come in for a pit stop yet. Staying out, hoping for a caution, it looks like.
Yeah, he can only stay out for probably about 7 more laps here, and then he's going to have to come in. So definitely this is the strat to overcut and try to make something happen here. I mean, he was definitely struggling with that car before and fell back pretty badly. So I think right now you see him in the wall, 24. you're gonna see him try to stay out, hope for caution, maybe, you know, with the overcut, right? With the 15 lap pressure tires, I don't think there'll be enough time to do it, but he might try to run these guys down and try to battle at the end here with those fresher tires.
See the
little bit of
leaders
lap
passing the
traffic
28
here.
car once again. He's just going to get way out of the way. It's like he's actually coming to pit road here. He's going to make his stop. The leaders still, now the 7 car closed the gap to 2/10 behind the 48 car Diego. And both still running that high side of the racetrack.
You're going to see Diego come around here and retake the lead here as you still see the 24. It's slowing. I mean, I think he's coming to pits right here. Yes, he is.
He's entering the pits. Last car to make a pit stop. Noah Hamilton in the 24 comes in for his service. And that will hand the lead back to his teammate in the 48, Diego Rodriguez. With a 3/10 lead now for the 7 car of Andrew White.
Yeah, a little bit of a gap open up there between first and second as the last lap unfolded. As we look at the timing and scoring, actually, we'll see that the 48 of Diego has actually run a better lap than Andrew White, sitting in second there by about a half second, give or take. Best lap, that is. We'll have to see how it trends as the race goes on, but that last lap he was better than Andrew by about a second and a half. Or I'm sorry. The best lap stat still remains. Diego's still leading that category, but that'll be interesting to see how it goes on here.
Yeah, the 48 and the 7 car leading the field are only a couple tenths apart a lap over the entire course of this run, so they are really managing their tires very well. Not quite as exciting as the battles that we had early on in this one, but these guys are toning it down and content to just ride it out, wait for the other one to make a mistake.
And you see the 7 starting to make up some ground here on this 48 here. Well, I noticed that, like, in that last run, right? I think Andrew was the best at saving the tires here. You see him backing up the entry here compared to that 48 a little bit more. And can get up next to the wall a little bit better than the 48. And it's allowing him to close in right here. He does have that help from the draft, but looks like this 7's starting to come on to this 48 a little bit.
The 48 running about a half lane lower. The 7's still ripping that wall hard. Just don't know if he's trying to find some grip up there. He doesn't seem to be gaining much speed from that. But as these leaders battle it out, that's a perfect time for a high velocity TV. Crank it up. So sit back, crank those stereos up, and listen to these ARCA cars roar here in the heartland at Kansas Speedway. So come out of your high velocity TV, crank it up. We have a change for the lead. The 7 car gets by the 48 of Diego. Andrew White, your new leader, after Diego was hard on the wall in 1 and 2. And don't forget about the 57 car, Cash Culp. He has closed the lead down to 1.6 seconds to the leader.
I saw him tag the wall there, coming out of 4. Man, yeah, nobody's safe from the wall here, it seems. Everyone who's been in the lead or who's inherited the lead is, had some sort of contact, but whether or not it's been detrimental to the actual performance of the car, we'll have to see as this run continues. But it looks like Diego's actually holding strong there in second, despite absolutely destroying the wall. But, yeah, we'll see how it goes.
And he's been able to actually catch back up to the 7 car. I mean, he lost a good 2 seconds when he grabbed that wall there, and he's got it back down just over half a second here and trying to track the 7 car back down.
The 7
Oh, my
car's on
God,
the wall
Andrew's in the wall.
again.
Oh,
He's there
man.
again. This is going to give an opportunity to the 48.
Yeah, he's going to have to battle hard to stay in the lead here if he really wants to.
He does have a run on him now. Will he make the move in 3 and 4? See, Andrew is still so committed to that high line. He's going to drift down a little bit on exit. Diego's going to follow him through.
Wow, and
Not
Andrew's able to
making the
get
move
off the corner a
just
lot better.
yet.
You see Cash back there still. You just see him right there just watching his battle and just, licking his lips just because he knows right now that these guys are probably, putting these cars on the edge while Cash is back there just slowly putting these guys down. You see Andrew in the wall once again.
That's
Yeah,
going to
both
give the
Andrew and
opportunity for
Cash.
Diego. They're going to get side by side here.
Yeah,
Diego's
he's
going to
gonna
take
clear
back
him.
the top spot.
Wow. Yeah, if I'm Cash Cope, I'm thinking to these guys, keep on doing your thing, keep battling it out. Maybe run into the wall a few times. Come on, back.
He's got this gap down though, almost a little under a second and a half here. He was about 4 or 5 seconds after the pit cycle. So with these two leaders going at it, it's allowed Cash to, gain some time here. You see him getting to the wall a little bit there, but only gave up about 2/10 getting to the wall.
Yeah, if I'm Diego or Andrew here, I'm thinking, our bicycle's in danger of becoming a tricycle here if we don't be careful. I think that if I'm the top two, I want to work together with one another. Give it a 50-50 shot of being in a good spot at the end of the race here. But Cash Cope is saying, I'm coming right now.
And
You
when
can
they're
see these
content,
guys still being really aggressive on that high side and really sending it in on each other. You see the top of our ticker, we still have 23 laps to go in this one. There is still more than half the run, or about half the run, excuse me, that is still left that these guys have to run. So Christian, what do you think is going through these guys' heads? Diego in the lead, Andrew and maybe Cash Culp. What do you think these guys are thinking right now? Are they thinking go, go, go? Or are they thinking maybe we should back off a little bit and let the other guy burn up his stuff?
yeah, I think right now with the clean air of Diego, I think you want to keep it here because I think the dirty air really does affect the way these cars handle. And I also feel like the reason why they're so committed to this top is because I just think it's the easiest way to go. Because I feel like how much wear the tires have here in these ARCA cars, I just don't think the bottom is a line that they can do and keep pace without burning up that right front. So right now I think that really if Andrew wants to do it, he's gonna have to start doing these slide jobs and trying to take it away from him. But right now I think Andrew's content riding behind this 48. I think they figured out that they need to settle down, even though Cash is still catching them at a pretty rapid pace here.
Yeah,
That
as we
last
just
lap,
said a couple minutes ago, don't worry, do not forget about Cash Culp. He has closed the gap to under a second now to the top two. This is going to
he's
be a
about
three-car battle at the end of this one with 20 to go at Kansas.
Cash almost 3/10 a lap faster these last couple laps here. You see, and I feel like him getting the wall is not really affecting that car as much as it is the two leaders right here. He kind of slaps it and gets off it pretty quickly. So I guess Cash doing better handling these wall hits.
Yeah, we saw flames out of the pipes for Andrew pretty early into the entry to that corner. Maybe giving a little bit of leniency on that push to the 48 in the lead.
They might be trying to back it off more. You know that Diego's in that clean air. His car's going to handle better than Andrew's. Andrew's probably just thinking, hey, if I can get a run off the top. Diego
Oh,
to
they're
the
both in the
wall.
wall. Both of them. Oh, man.
My, this is exactly what Cash Culp wants to see. Let these guys rub each other up, get in the wall, burn their stuff up. And I don't know what kind of Fast Cash Racing Products construction they put into that 57 machine, but that thing is a tank taking those wall hits.
Come on, bud.
He's not losing any time. Down to 0.8 of a second gap to the leader. Gained another tenth in that corner, down to 0.6. Diego and Andrew are not giving each other an inch. Diego is protecting that high line with his life.
Oh, he's in the wall.
Yeah, you can really tell that the air is upsetting the handling of that car now, that 7 Jim Beam car.
Yeah, Andrew really wants to get by Diego, but he's not going to be able to do it if he keeps slipping up on those corners.
Yeah, he lost a tenth for getting into the wall there. What will Andrew do to fight back to Diego? What will Cash Culp do to take the fight to these two leaders?
Yeah, as you said earlier, Jeff, catching them is one thing, passing them is another. You know, we've seen Cash Culp kind of riding around back there doing his own thing, but he's going to have to switch up his line really quickly in order to get by these guys, and I'm not so sure he's ready to make such an abrupt move if he catches them really quickly, but we'll have to see here.
You saw Cash get in the wall there. There was a ton of time there. I mean, he was under half a second now, back to a little under a second now, so he's gonna have to get back on that horse and get back up to these leaders. I think right now he's out of these three right now. He's the fastest car right here right now. Currently, Tim is your fastest car on track right now. Just actually set the purple lap here. Did you see the 48 in the wall?
Yeah, Diego hard to the wall. That's going to get the lead back to the 7 car of Andrew White. Cash Culp's going to take advantage and pass him for second. Oh my, just disaster for Diego. Let's take a look and see how that happened in 1 and 2. See, he just sends it into the corner too deep and just hard into that wall. And as Matthew said earlier, it's just a vacuum that holds the car up there.
Oh my gosh, look at Andrew.
You
What
lose
a
a lot of
job not
time.
to get collected in
That
that.
almost took out
Oh,
both of those
man.
machines. Oh my. What a job for Andrew to say. Cash Culp
Oh,
into
there's
the
what's happening right now.
wall.
Cash is in the wall. Oh, man.
The 48 battles back.
Diego is not ready to say, I'm backing out of this fight. He wants to be back up there.
Yeah, it looks like Cash got a little help from that 48 getting up into the wall, but Cash was able to keep it off, get it back off, and you saw Diego give him the space to get that car back off the wall, and they're really not that far off from this leader here. And right now, I think they need to work together to catch back up here.
Yeah, and the big winner of that scuffle is Cash Culp because that whole series of incidents brought these leaders way closer together. And Cash was not in those guys' dirty air for a long time, so he probably has the freshest stuff of these guys. You can see the 48 cars still. They're dooring into one.
Oh!
Cash Culp's getting tight. Squeezes Diego a little bit, but he's fine. He's going to get the run off the high side. But as we said, now the big winner is Andrew White. He is saying, okay, you guys can do anything you want back there. As long as you slow each other down and don't get up to me, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, Cash Culp sets it into that corner after a really aggressive side drop. Oh, they're going to be so tight. Oh, wow.
And look at the gap now. 1.3 seconds that the 7 car has opened it up on the 48. What a turn of events here.
And like we said in the pre-show, we knew Cash was going to be aggressive and try to take these spots and stuff when they're given to him. And I also think Cash probably wasn't very happy with that 48 getting helped up into the wall there and trying to bring the fight to him. But unfortunately, just kind of hurt both their chances at catching the leader again here. Coming to 10 to go. I mean, they have no choice. They have to work together now if they want a chance to catch the leader here. And the leader's what, a little over a second, 1.2 ahead of these guys, and they're gonna have to not fight it out. And if they even do have a chance now to catch up, they're gonna have to look at each other.
You see now this pack of the leaders is very spread out. Andrew White still out to a second lead over Diego. Diego closing the gap just a little bit. I just don't know what the amount of damage that he has from hitting the wall, if he's going to be able to get up there. Especially now with how worn out everyone's tires are, it's going to be so hard to gain tenths every lap to get up there. 9 to go, he's
Cash
going
is
to
in
have
the
to
wall.
gain.
Oh man,
Yeah, and Cash really
off the
struggling
pace.
too. He's just trying to do anything he can. Last ditch effort. He sees these guys fading in his windshield. And Cash now 2 seconds off the leader. He may be out of it. That may have been his last chance. Diego's going to have to gain over a tenth a lap now to get to Andrew. But as we've seen the whole race, nobody is protected from mistakes running this high line. So we'll see if we get any here that can change the outcome of this one. Cash really struggling off a 2 into the wall again.
And if anybody's going to be put in a mistake, it's going to be the 7 car with how tight he's been running that wall. You see everybody else running about half a lane off, but you see him putting himself in the most danger to make a mistake here with how close he's been riding the wall here. And look at Diego. He's already caught back up. 4 tenths, now 3.5 tenths to this number 7 car.
And the 7 ended up going to the bottom in turn 2 there. He must have been really struggling with the rear end of that race car. That is something that we have almost never seen him do the whole race unless making a pass.
Yeah, it is not over by any means. Coming out of 4. Let's see who has a better lap this time around.
And Diego again over a tenth faster.
Oh, he's in the wall. Oh, that's going to bring Diego so much closer. Oh, man, he's going to have a big run out of 2.
This is shaping up to be one of those classic Kansas Speedway finishes. Jimmy Johnson and Carl Edwards, part 2. Except with Jimmy Johnson and the 7 car this time.
Man, if I'm Diego, I wanna pass him as soon as humanly possible. I do not want to give him a chance to put me on the wall, run me down to the track, park his car in front of me on a side job. I don't want to give him any chance of that. I want to get a good run, put a good run together with 5 laps to go, and get him off the corner. I think that's the best option here.
And Diego with a really bad corner there. He lost about 1.5 there just in the turn 1 and 2. Looks like he just overshot, had to back way out of it. And now Andrew back out. All that time that Diego made up, he just gave away in that one corner.
And back out to an 8 tenths lead and counting. Diego may have just wasted his last shot getting up to Andrew White in the 7.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
Andrew can't make any mistakes here.
In the back of the pack, the 70 car passes the 28 for 5th place. That's a top 5 run for the 10 car, who was battling for the lead early on in this one, but just had an unlucky break. Had to make an extra pit stop. But all eyes are on Andrew White in that 7 car.
You see Andrew now not willing to run up there next to the wall. You know he has that little bit of a cushion. You see him actually get up in the wall.
Oh, man.
And if we saw it the whole race, we were thinking that he has been struggling so much on the exit of these corners.
And here's Diego's in the wall.
Oh, man. Everyone's in the wall.
And Diego, with the one chance that he may have had left, Andrew getting in the wall, he does the same and is losing another half a second, even more time. Time's running out for him to make a move. He's going to need a mistake out of that 7 car.
Well, we've seen it. It can happen.
The 7 sees the gap that he has now. He's going to just be as conservative as humanly possible in these last 6 turns. The 7 car is going to come off turn 4. See those gaps in the field. White flag is out. for Andrew White. Can he hold on? The 1.5-second lead over Diego Rodriguez in the 48. 6 seconds over Cash Culp. In 3 and 4, he's been running that high line the whole race, and he mastered it. He's going to do it. Andrew White gets his first career ARCA win here at Kansas.
Come on, Matt. What a job from Andrew White.
And I have to give it to these top three. What a battle they put on in that first run. And Diego Rodriguez again running good the whole race and coming up just short. But what an incredible battle from these guys here at Kansas. Just awesome stuff. This racetrack never disappoints in any car, any discipline. These ARCA cars put on a great show for the fans today.
No, I definitely agree. And you're going to see the drivers come up here, give a little nudge to your race winners and stuff here. I mean, Andrew definitely deserves it. I mean, anybody that was up here, basically, even that 10 car at one point up here battling for this race, everybody could have won this race without mistakes. So, with how close everybody was on pace, but you see the 7 and the 48 doing burnouts here. So, and there goes the 24 to
Yeah, the 7 car is going to burn it down like nothing else he's done before. What an incredible battle. For so many times that it seemed like he threw the race away, getting into the wall, making mistakes, he held on. As our newest winner in the Fast Cash Racing Products ARCA Series in race 2 of the season at Kansas. Let's take a look at your High Velocity TV race results. Andrew's still burning it down. John Forston it down the front stretch. He is sure going to enjoy this one. Andrew White and the number 7 Jim Beam Chevy, your winner here at Kansas Speedway. The 1.3 second lead over the 48 car of Diego Rodriguez. Cash Culp coming in third, 7 seconds back. Noah Hamilton in that 24 DuPont Flames car, a half a lap behind. And Christian, why don't you round out the field for us?
yeah, you're going to see Tim Wenger there in that number 70 car come home P5. P6 is going to be Zachary Burnt in that number 28 car. 7th is going to be Keith Chalk. And Jeff Bruchatsky had to hang it up early, had to come up here in the booth with us. He's going to round out your field.
That will do it for us here at Kansas. Yeah, I tried to hop in the car. They did not let me run a lap, so unfortunate for me, but what a great race we got to call. That was a good consolation prize for us up here in the booth. We're going to go ahead and drag in our podium finishers here. Let's go ahead and start with the 57 car, Cash Culp, finishing this one third.
Spent. Oh, hi.
Hey, Cash. This is Jeff, Matthew, and Christian up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, congrats on the P3. Really exciting battling from you and Diego and Andrew up there. Talk us through your race, man.
Yeah, so early on, I knew they were saving tires early, so I tried to save tires, but I'm not very good at saving tires. I'm gonna be honest with you. But I got out to like I think a 4-second lead at one point, so I don't know if I led the most laps again. Probably did, but it was a good battle between me, Diego, and Andrew there in the middle of the race, and then pit stop started, and I'm not a very good strategist, but I mean I own a team on my own crew chief, on my own driver, and they got an entire team. They got an entire team of 4 drivers and then some. So I mean, for my results, I'm very happy. This is gonna help us really well in the championship. I mean, no, Noah finished 4th behind me, and so I think the championship is I still got a good grasp on the championship so far. I mean, we're only 2 races in, but next race Knoxville, my playground. So I think we're gonna have a very, very good race at Knoxville. Hopefully to pick up a win there. We need to be practicing a lot for that race, but I think we have a really good shot at the championship here. We've had a very, very strong Daytona in Kansas. We obviously won Daytona and we third in Kansas, so I can't complain. I just wish I was better at saving tires, but I mean, I'm a one-man crew. It's all me and my teammates who unfortunately weren't able to show up today, but they'll be there for Knoxville. So hopefully we can get a CCR 1, 2, 3 next week. That'll be pretty nice. But I'm overall very happy with my results the past 2 weeks here.
Yeah, you said it. First at Daytona and third here at Kansas. Now that's an average finish of 2 on the year. And looking forward to Knoxville, which is the only dirt track on our schedule here. And that should be a great race for you. Anybody you want to thank for this P3?
Yeah, I gotta thank first of all, we got to thank the Lord Jesus and God for obviously allowing us to race here, but we also got to thank all the people that make it happen as well. Got to thank all the sponsors, Option Solar, Chaparrosa Roofing, French Valley Transportation, Beckman Designs, Torpedo Teddy Horn Hunkers, Fast Cash Racing Products, hit me up, and myself for being a damn good driver, and God for giving me some pretty damn good talent.
There you go. You heard the man. Well, congrats on the P3 and go home and celebrate with the team, buddy. Have a good one.
I am the team.
There you go. You
All
heard
right.
it from the man himself. Cash Cole
You know what?
finishes P3 here at Kansas. We're going to go ahead and talk to your P2 finisher, the 48 of Diego Rodriguez. Hey, Diego, this is Jeff, Matthew, and Christian in the booth. He got us. I don't think he is ready to talk to us on the radio yet, so we are going to bring in your winner here, Andrew White, in the 7 car. See if we can get him on the horn. Hey, Andrew, this is Jeff, Matthew, and Christian in the booth. He got us? All right. Well, I guess those are the only interviews that we're going to be doing tonight. But regardless, what a incredible race from our top 3, and incredible race for everybody in general. Just, man, I mean, we knew Kansas was going to be great going into it. Multi-groove, great racing all around the track, and great racing really for this entire 90 laps. I mean, even after the pit stop, the 7 and the 48 and the 57 still so close on speed. Mistakes really played a factor, and it really just came down to who made the best of their situation, and that was Andrew White.
No, I definitely agree, Jeff. The race was exciting from basically flag to flag here. No cautions, no nothing like that. So it was basically, kind of like an endurance race, right? When it comes to, you know, a lot of these drivers now aren't used to, going flag to flag with stage cautions. Now with the new NASCAR format and everything else. So, uh, very surprised. Obviously, Kansas, one of the better racetracks, in my opinion, on the NASCAR circuit when it comes to having dynamic track and everything. Is I think we do have Diego up here in the booth. Uh, you got us, Diego?
I do. I was doing something for a minute.
Well, awesome. Diego, our P2 finisher, as we were saying on the broadcast all race, I mean, just incredible battles from you and the 7 of Andrew White and 57 of Cash Colt. Talk us through your race, man. What more did you need to get it done here at Kansas?
I think I needed a couple more laps to catch him, and that wall was just like a magnet, and every time you got a little too close to it, just pulled you in and you couldn't get out, and you lose so much time. I think that's what I was leading, and I did get into the wall, and that's I think what cost me the race win. I'm not happy with the wall. But I do think pitting with Andrew, splitting the race down, and pitting on lap 45 did help with the fresh new tires.
Yeah, well, we could see it all race. So that wall was like a vacuum sucking all the cars in that get anywhere near it. We saw it with you. We saw it with the 7 car many times. And that was really what decided the win, was just who made the best out of those mistakes that were made. Christian, do you have anything to say about that incredible battle we just saw?
No, just the fact that and you basically put it to a T, Diego. It's just like if you got too close, that wall will just kind of suck you in, and it seemed like once one of you guys had a good run going out there in the lead or whatever, you guys would just barely get into enough to bring the other guy back to the other one, and it just put in a kind of fortunately for us up in the booth at least put just made the racing even better just from how hard it was to be consistent running up there on the top of our race. But yeah, I mean, you definitely put a show up. You definitely I can't talk. You definitely put a show on for the fans at home. So, and you can't complain about a P2, especially with how well you ran here. So.
Hmm.
Yeah, great run, Diego, for a P2. I know Daytona, you were fast, but didn't end the way that you wanted it to. And you ran great here again, but just needed a little bit more to get the win here. But success is coming. I can feel it for you, buddy. So congrats on the P2.
Thank you.
Yep. Diego Rodriguez, your P2 finisher. And we're going to try Andrew White one more time, see if we can dial him up. Bring him on in here. Hey, Andrew, this is Jeff in the booth. You got us.
Yeah, I gotcha.
There we go. So a winner here in the Fast Cash Racing Products ARCA series, as we said, with the two finishers before. An incredible battle between you, Diego, and Cash. Just walk us through your race, man. What did you do to get it done here at Kansas?
Oh yeah, me and Diego were saving tires after the first pit stop. I think Cass burned up his stuff, so he caught us, but then he started to fall back because of that. There's a lot of mistakes throughout the entire night. Hit the wall too many times, got some damage, but we got to fix on the pit stop, and kind of how it went.
Yeah, we could see that you guys were struggling a lot on the long runs, getting in the wall and just trying to keep the cars straight. But no cautions in this one. It really was truly an endurance race. Christian, what do you have to say about how those guys raced it out to the end for the entirely in the 90 laps?
And kind of like what I was talking to Diego about, it just seemed like any time that you or Diego or even Cash would have the momentum on your side, it seemed like that wall would grab you guys. And especially towards the front of that race, you had that 28 car trying to stay one lap down. It looked like giving you guys a little bit of a burden. What was that like trying to just stay in front of each other, but also try to navigate through that lap traffic early in the race?
Um, Lap traffic wasn't really a problem. They were good about getting out of the way. But we kind of got around them, and then after that, we were just really saving the whole time. But the wall was very sticky. When you got on the wall, you were stuck on it. You couldn't get off of it. Yeah, that's about it.
Well, what an awesome run for you. Is there anybody you want to thank for this win?
Definitely, Diego. He could have definitely run me over a lot of times when I got on the wall. I should have been junked about 5 times that race, so definitely thanks to him.
Hey, Andrew, I got one question for you. I saw you make that awesome move, shortening up that distance to Diego, getting on the pit road. How did you do that? And was that planned as you were coming off of the banking, or was that just kind of a, like a reaction time type of thing that you just thought you could do?
Definitely a reaction time thing. He slowed up way too early, so I just went around him. Slowed up really early. I was able to enter the pits ahead of him, which was great. Um, Enter my box well, and then got out ahead of him.
Awesome stuff, man. Hey, great job on the win today, and yeah, I'm looking forward to everything else that you got for us in this season.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the interview.
Yeah, great battle, great win for Andrew White, and we'll be seeing him in victory lane a lot more, I'm sure of it, in this Fast Cash Racing Products ARCA series. Andrew White, your winner from Kansas, and man, my final thoughts from this one are, wow, I cannot wait to come back to this racetrack because they put on a show. Everybody puts on a show in any type of car here, but man, we saw something special today, didn't we, guys?
No, we did, and like we had talked about earlier, it seemed like nobody had an advantage here. It seemed like anytime something went right for someone, it would go sour for them, and it would just allow the other 2, 3, 4 drivers to capitalized on that, and it just made the racing even better. I mean, you saw how difficult it was for all these drivers. It seemed like the whole race, the top was the lane to go, but you also saw the consequences of them running the top, where they would get into a rhythm and just barely slip up just enough to where they would give up all that precious time, allow the drivers to catch back up, and it just allowed the fans at home to see just such a phenomenal and competitive race all throughout the whole race, and especially for a caution-free race, it's really exciting to see, especially here at Kansas.
Matthew, when we start thinking about points, what do you think are going to be the mentalities of these drivers, such as Cash Culp, who's now leading the points after a win and a third place finish here at Kansas, and guys like Diego and Andrew getting his first win and Diego running really well? What are going to be their goals and their motivations going into Knoxville a week from today?
Yeah, so I think people like Cash Culp, he's been doing everything he's need to be doing right. And if it weren't for a few bad circumstances today, he could have been in the lead, in the position to win at the very end there. As for guys like Diego and Andrew, though, I think maybe start turning up the heat, being a little more aggressive at times, but also being able to clean up your mistakes and not get into the wall, not put yourself in a situation where you're going to get run over by someone, for example, or you're going to have a bad stop on pit road. So I think a lot of the times what you got to consider is that sometimes the best that these guys can do is all they can do. And I think in the cases of Diego and Andrew chasing somebody like Cash Culp, the points leader, we're just going to have to wait and see what they can pull out of the bag. Obviously, Andrew White with an amazing win today, and me personally, I didn't see that one coming. But moving forward, hey, we might see Andrew, to take hold of the reins and kind of just to take a really strong grip of this series moving forward. But I think coming off of a win, that's all the motivation you need.
Yeah, 100% agree. Really exciting seeing Cash and Diego run so well in the first 2 weeks, and Andrew getting his first win out of nowhere. Going to be really exciting. This points battle as the rest of the season plays out. Very long season. We're only in race 2. So we're going to wrap things up here from Kansas Speedway. This has been a High Velocity TV production here for the Fast Cash Racing Products ARCA Racing Series. On behalf of Matthew, Christian, and your announcer, Jeff Berchaski, we're going to say so long from Kansas City, Kansas Speedway, and we will see you here 1 week from today from the dirt track of Knoxville, Iowa. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.
See you later, mate. We're going dirt tracking.